So in this meditation I will lead you to different objects of your senses, and then from there pointing into presence, pointing into the knowingness of these objects. So let's explore. And you start by adjusting your posture and shifting from the break into being here. And if you're tired, then what we explore is if you let that be okay. Neither being overwhelmed nor struggling with being tired. And then you allow your awareness, your attention to drop from the head into the body. You unhook from the commentary and thoughts and the sense of being in the head to being in the body, dropping into the root, into the trunk of your body. Noticing the breath. And then I invite you to bring your attention into your hands. Can you feel your hands, the energy in your hands, in the palms of your hand, in the fingers? And if you have a sense that you are sitting in your head and you're kind of looking down into your hands, see if you can unhook from being in the head, resting in the hands, feeling the hands from inside. And then you let go of the mental image of the hands. So you meditate, you are aware of the sensations from within the hands, not through a mental image, but directly. So there's the sensations in the palms of your hands, the flow of energy. But isn't there also a presence, a knowingness? A spacious knowingness, a spacious presence, a stillness surrounding, underlying and pervading the sensations. And then if you start to be hooked by the commentary, you unhook and you drop back into your hands, dissolving the mental image, being in the hands, feeling the hands from inside. Feeling the energy in your hands, and then isn't there also a presence, a field of awareness which is surrounding and underlying the sensations. So look into that presence. Look into that stillness. Not from above, not from the head, but from inside the hands. Look from awareness. So there's the flow of energy, the flow of chi, prana in the hands, the sensation of touch, and the sensation of energy in the palms of your hands. But isn't there also a presence, a knowingness, a stillness which knows? Look into that. Look beyond, beneath the sensations. So now I invite you to bring your attention to your eyes. And if you have your eyes closed, then you keep them closed. If you have them open, you leave them open. And your gaze is relaxed. And notice what you see, even if you have your eyes closed. So there's something happening there. You see some light and some patterns, some darkness, some light, some colors, maybe shapes. So become aware of that. If you have your eyes open and your gaze is unfocused, relaxed, noticing the shapes and colors. So now there is that colors, that shapes, that movement, but isn't there also a presence, a knowingness? A spacious clarity. So look into that knowingness. Look beneath, beyond the patterns, into the stillness, into the vastness. And then we let go of that, and next I invite you to become aware of the thoughts you have, the mental images, the voice, the next thought you're going to have. Where will it come from? Look. The next mental image which is going to arise, where will it come from? Look. Look there. Where will it come from? beyond, beneath, behind, through the thoughts, into stillness, into space. To experience stillness, more stillness. The next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? Look. Just look. And look with awareness, look with your heart. Not with your eyes, look with your heart, look with awareness. The next thought you're going to have, where will it come from? Look beneath, beyond the thoughts, between the thoughts, into space. Into presence. Into peace. Into stillness. Look into stillness, the knowingness. Boundaryless and centerless. And then you unhook from that, and I invite you to bring your attention towards your heart. The heart chakra in the middle of your chest. The energy in the chest. You breathe gently into the heart. What do you feel there? So there's the sensations dropping into the heart. So again, not looking down from above, kind of having a sense that you're sitting behind your eyes and looking down. But actually dropping into the heart, being into the heart, being in the heart, feeling from inside. So there's the sensations, and isn't there also a presence? A knowingness. A spacious awareness. So look with awareness beneath, beyond, deeper than the sensations. Boundaryless and centerless. Empty and wakeful. Look into the onness, into the wakefulness. Look into the stillness, into the effortlessness. that which is always there, which is always already there. Very close, very simple, very ordinary, absolutely undramatic. The vastness of your own being, where you are most deeply yourself. Deeper, further, beyond, and yet the same. Rest there. Then, if something comes to the foreground, a question, a confusion, a tiredness, look beyond, look beneath, look through, into wakefulness, into that which is aware. Into that which knows that you're confused, that you're tired. So breathing gently into the heart. And awareness becoming aware of itself. Rest there, in that stillness, in that eternal, infinite stillness. Notice that there is movement, coming and going, of thoughts, of sensations and sounds. But we are looking into that which remains, that which does not move. Rest as the unmoving mind. Rest as the unmoving heart. Rest as that through which your thoughts and sensations and this voice travels. Like the sky, be the sky. Let the weather happen, be the sky. Boundaryless, centerless, wakeful in the nature of love. The Great Mother. Rest there. And if something arises, a question, a doubt, a tiredness, where is that happening? What is aware? Look into stillness with your heart, with awareness. Look into the stillness which is listening. Look with your heart. Look with your heart into the stillness which is listening. whole body, from the toes to the top of your head, is bathing in that stillness. So the three qualities, the three attitudes in natural meditation, the easygoing, allowing, letting things be as they are. So I invite you, I encourage you to experiment a bit with that. So just, as part of your meditation practice, to give yourself also periods of practicing non-practicing, practicing non-meditation. So for a moment to let go of the meditator, of the control freak, and just to see what happens. It's a very precious meditation instruction, is allow this moment to be what it is. Let things be as they are. And then to just, okay, what happens then? In a way, it's a very simple, easy meditation, but obviously it is also challenging, and it is a meditation practice which is usually not being taught to beginners. What is taught to beginners is most often controlling meditation practices, because that's a bit easier. So concentrate on the breath. Yeah. So then you know what the breath is, and you're used to do things, and you're used to do it with effort, so that's fine. It fits. So now to kind of reverse that and say, okay, take a break. It's like after a day of work, yeah? After a day of work where you don't know how it is in Finland, but in many countries it's like people have the feeling that they can't just enjoy. They need to earn it. So first you need to work hard, and then you can go to the summer house and enjoy nature. So that kind of feeling at the end of a time of a day of work, that kind of feeling of just sitting on the bench and letting go of the control freak, of the doer, of the improver, of the trying to get somewhere. It's beautiful if that can be part of your meditation. So you don't try to cram in different things in your meditation practice and do this and that, and so the easygoing. And this is what you also get when you listen to guidance from masters from the Mahamudra and the Dzogchen tradition. They have that. They use these words. Allowing, letting things be, take it easy, relax, just be yourself. Just sit. Even don't use the word meditation. It already starts to be too much when you start to meditate. It's already one step too much. Of course, this kind of move, this kind of practice needs a trust in your goodness. A trust in your goodness, into your innate primordial freedom. And then the second, the interested, and I wanted to say something about that because, there's another aspect to this three attitudes and these three qualities is when we bring this into relationship. So, the openness, easygoing attitude, this is really a beautiful gift to other people. A non-judgmental presence. Letting go of the fixing, controlling, giving advice attitude. In the therapeutic setting, this is called unconditional positive regard. It comes from Carl Rogers, who is like a founding father of the humanistic psychology. And it has been shown again and again what actually works in psychotherapy is that. It does not matter so much what kind of wonderful techniques you use or what kind of tricks. If that is lacking, that alchemistic stone power of empathy, of being present, of giving space. And then the interest. So that's the, yesterday I tried to share a bit with you a possible interest in anxiety. Becoming interested in that which you actually want to fix and control, or you try to get rid of. So what if you turn that around and we become interested? Oh, wow. Anxiety. It's juicy. It's blissful. And that interest, if you bring that into your relationships, it's beautiful. If you meet, remember these moments when you met a person who was really like, he or she couldn't sleep because she was so interested in you, looking at you and touching you and getting to know you and listening to your voice, and the same if you were interested like that in another person. It's beautiful. Tell me more. I want to write a book about you. How did yeah, you are worth it. I mean, every one of you. I mean, how did you made it until now? It's like, wow. How did you get through this? I mean, how do you get out of bed in the morning? How do you make it? Having so neurotic parents, living in an insane society. So it's this interest is that's this appreciation, this wonder, this curiosity, this beginner's mind. I think this is connected also with this, what I said before, that in some traditions they say, all this is happening because God, she is curious about herself. She wants to get to know herself. So I think that's connected with that. It's that joy of standing, being alive. It's that joy of life, that curiosity, that wonder, that of life, including the heartbroken, and including the sadness. Yes, and then the friendliness. So that is of course something which I mean, this is really so important to whatever you practice. Sometimes it takes years for people to find out that they have beating themselves up with their yoga, with their whatever they do. It can be quite a shock sometimes to realize, wow, I was so hard. I was like this, trying to get to enlightenment like this, doing like this, German style. Police officer, German border police officer style. How can we cultivate friendliness and compassion and kindness when we beat ourselves up in our own practice? Like beating us to kindness? And it's very easy that becomes a foundation in our practice. Guilt, and I'm not good enough, I need to work harder, I need to do this and this, I should be more like this, I should be more compassion, I should have less anger. How could Maitri grow from that? I think this is very important for us, no matter what our practice is. You can torture yourself with yoga. Whatever yoga you do. You can torture yourself with purification and purify and feeling worse and worse and worse. So the friendliness, this is self-compassion, self-acceptance. And again, bringing this into your relationships, that's why we do this. So the easygoing, the spacious presence, the interest. I'm interested, I'm looking, I'm here. I'm here and I want to know you, I want to feel you. And then the friendliness, the kindness. to the extent you are able to offer these qualities or discover these qualities in you. So it is 3 attitudes, but what you discover through the attitudes is something primordially always present already. Then you become an embodiment of that. You become openness and wakefulness and goodness. Or you discover that you are that, and it can be expressed through the way you live your life. Yes. So, I think that's it. Are there any questions, comments? Doubts? Yeah.
In your experience, are we Westerners? Are we just different from the Tibetans, or in respect to compassion, to being able to be compassionate towards ourselves?
I think this is a very good question, and it is a very important question for us. I think it's really worth to explore that deeply. Because what sometimes happens is that people try to just squeeze themselves into these methods which worked for Tibetans. But culture and growing up and what kind of experience and what kind of structure you come from and the family systems you come from, the values in your culture, this is influencing so much the way we are and the way we work with these methods. So this is an important. I don't have a clear answer. I know that there's differences, definitely, and I see that for many people traditional practice just does not work, in the sense that it does not make them more relaxed and spacious and open and happy. So then I wonder, what is it? Why is it not working? Yeah. Why is it not? Why? It definitely it works for the Tibetans. I mean, the most radiant and happy and blissful people I met were Tibetan monks, and they not even have sex. Yes.
Maybe that's why.
And then I meet people who have been going through their sadhana for 30, 40 years. They are all worn out, the sadhanas, and not much happens. So I don't believe it's the method, and I don't believe that we can't do it. Because in that sense we are the same as Tibetans, we have the same potential, but there is something needs to be adapted there, something needs to change. And definitely, I'm not so sure about the cultural background or the educational background in Finland, but for example in Sweden, what is very strong in Sweden is, as the value is, don't think so much about yourself. So how could a Swedish person develop something like what is called in the Tibetan tradition divine pride? So, and a Tibetan who grows up in a healthy culture, he or she grows up with the knowing of, basically, I'm a good person. I'm an inborn, healthy, brilliant, sane person. That's the ground state. Yes, and then there is temporary disturbances and temporary panic attacks and stuff like that, but it's not affecting the ground. So this is a very different way. So, for example, one example is there's a lot of purification practices in the Tibetan tradition. So, and the idea is, in the graduate path, you purify the obstacles to your Buddha nature. So when a Tibetan hears that, it makes sense. So a Tibetan is resting in, okay, there's Buddha nature, I'm basically good, I'm basically intelligent. So, and there's this anxiety, so I do some purification practice to let go. And that makes sense. For a Westerner who reads about purification practice, it's like, I always knew that something is really wrong with me. And so I do my first 100,000 purification practices, and actually what I do, I always confirm that something is wrong with me. And I feel worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's the same practice, but since it's looked at from two different angles, it can have two different effects. And that's the challenge, I guess, for us in the West, how to practice the Buddhist teachings, and here the Tibetan teachings, that they actually lighten us up instead of putting more burden on us. And the Tibetans, I've spent time with Tibetans. They are really, the way they relate to their feelings, and it's really different. I have not understood them really. They are really, it seems to be, feelings seem to be not so important to them. I don't know. It's culture is an interesting thing. Even in Europe, it's fascinating to see like the differences, because I go to different countries. Even like countries who are so close together, like Germany and Denmark, it's just different. There needs to be a Danish Dharma and a German Dharma and and definitely a Spanish Dharma. They need something. They definitely need something else. So I'm really very interested in Western teachers who have a long background. I mean, we have practitioners now who are practicing since 40 years, like full time, in the Tibetan tradition. Quite a few who went to Nepal and India in the end of the 60s. So that's 50 years. And they have been ordained, and they have been studying, and they learned the languages, and so I'm really very interested in reading the way they teach and they practice, in particular when they also have some interest and some appreciation and some education in Western philosophical and psychological knowledge. People who can be a bridge between these two worlds. I think that is very important. It's also important to have the traditional teachings, but I'm really curious about those people who explore the combination, and there's quite a lot of them there. other. Yeah, you have a question? Yes.
Well, I deals with meditation we had just recently.
Mm.
Tries to stretch further in our existence here.
Mm.
Well, in this meditation, it got quite clear that the thought which arises from where it comes as a response for our senses, or as a response to some kind of stimulus inside the machine, but the awareness who is experiencing those thoughts or being aware of those thoughts is clearly separate from the origin of those thoughts.
Mm.
And now when we are thinking of approaches of this awareness or consciousness, whatever, who seems who clearly is something different than our thoughts and our physical and mental structure or construction.
Mm.
It when it separates from this machine, what is the process of this separation? What is happening there for this awareness, and how it goes?
Mm. I think it would be good for you to look a bit more into if it's really like two different things. It makes sense what you say. I can recognize that, but so is it really that you can separate the sounds from the awareness of the sounds, thoughts from the awareness of the thoughts? So in the Buddhist approach to that, it is described as something which comes always together, which is not really, it's not possible to separate these two. So this process of death, so which is the process of the delusion of those more coarse levels of mind. So there is the coarse level of mind, and there's a very subtle level of mind. And now in this meditation, my intention was to point a bit to the more subtle level of mind, what you call consciousness or awareness, pure awareness. So so in the death process, also when you fall asleep, you go through a similar process. That coarse level, like the waves in the ocean, they calm down and they dissolve back into the ocean. Yeah. And in the death process, exactly that happens. So that coarse level of your mind dissolves back into the ground. Yeah. And then that ground is being described like as a stream continues to travel. It kind of it goes further. And then through the karmic energy in that stream, the next thought is born in the between state, in the bardo, and then that process goes further until then, out of this more subtle level, the next life arises. So it is not really true to say that there's something being reborn. It's not like that would be what the Hindus believe, that there is that soul or something, and this soul jumps from life to life. It's not that you are reborn into something, because there is nothing. There is nothing out there, independent from your mind. It's more that from the ground, the new universe arises. So while you are being reborn, and we talk about it as if you are reborn into something, it's actually more, at least that's what they say, it's like more that you co-create that which you are reborn into. I'm glad. I'm glad. This is a misunderstanding of reincarnation when people say, well, a misunderstanding how reincarnation is being described in Buddhist thought. This kind of jumping from one life to the next. There is nothing which jumps from one life to the next. And there is also nothing there which you can jump into. Before you are there, it does not exist. Yeah.
So, on basis of that, what could you see about awareness? Is there any meaning for that pure awareness making a transition from here to Pardo and then back to here in our whole life process? So the question means that does the awareness benefit from our practice here when being in Pardo?
The awareness, so pure awareness is, you can't do anything with it. It can't get better. It can't get better. It can't get worse. It can't get bigger. It can't grow. It can't. It's. But what gets better is the recognition of that, the familiarization of that. So what gets better is that you are hopefully throughout this life, and then also being in the bardo, that you are less and less confused, less and less afraid, less and less afraid of relaxing into this groundless awareness.
Does it mean that we are practicing here to being able to guide
Yeah.
in full consciousness?
Definitely, yes. So this meditation of recognizing this is the best preparation for death. Because this space, the open, wakeful goodness, will open for you at the 8th stage of the death process, and it's called in that teaching it's called the clear light mind of death. So this space will be completely open, and if you have familiarized yourself with it, then you relax. If you have not familiarized yourself with it, you get shit scared. Because it feels like annihilation, and then something happens. So then you kind of, I will get oh, it was so nice to be a dog. Yeah. So you prefer to be a dog than being a Buddha, because it feels so nicely stupid. But then, again, it's not really correct to say, it's like a simplification then to say, oh, then you are reborn as a dog. Like you, and it's even sometimes there's teachings where it describes that like the mind goes to that place where father dog and mother dog have sex, and then the mind somehow, yeah, it's not really like that. There is no father dog and mother dog out there somewhere where you could go. There is no world out there where you could go. It's that kind of language, of course, it's helpful to a certain extent, yeah, to think about reincarnation as this kind of Okay, I will reborn in heaven, I will be reborn in hell. So as if these are places where we could go to. But there are no places like this. It's all states of mind which arise in the moment when the karma in that mind stream is ripened. Then the hell arises. You're not being reborn in hell. It's happening. It's created through your karma. Okay, let's have a short break and then we will conclude the weekend.